just right there, an outfit just formed from seeing it on the rack, and I don't think I would have put those things together if they were all just in the different sections of my closet. Welcome to the dress up closet. We are going to hang out here today and do something really fun. I'm going to bring you into the creative process of creating my characters that I love to dress up. For me, getting dressed is just so much fun, and I feel like a big part of what I love about getting dressed is telling stories. And I've found that often I love to put on my costume designer hat and kind of imagine characters and then dress up those characters. I think it's a really fun way to see your clothes in a whole new way. It's also fun just because it takes you out of what you're seeing, you know, magazines and online and everything, of how the trends and all of that kind of stuff, which I love, but it takes you away from that, and it really just brings you into this whole new story that you can create with a character, and then imagine what they would wear, how they would wear something in their life. And I've had so much fun doing this for the past few years. I did that in the fall of 2021. I created the 4 fall characters with the ranch heiress and the off-duty royal and all of those fun ones. And I think even in the spring, the florist. So I've had fun doing this, and recently I've been doing it a lot more, mainly on Instagram and TikTok. If you're not following me on TikTok, I've been uploading almost every day a get dressed with me where I bring you into the creative process of getting dressed. But the ones that have been the most fun are when I've created a character and then built a rack around that character and then dressed from that rack. So I am exploring a brand new character. I put out a little call to action on my Instagram stories maybe about a month ago, asking you new characters that you would like to see me dress up, and I have selected one from you, and I'm gonna take you through the creative process of creating that character today. We're gonna talk about the inspiration, kind of the mood board. We're gonna talk about building the rack, and then this whole week you have probably seen on Instagram me dressing up that character, and you'll just see it anywhere and everywhere, that character coming to life. So first, I want to introduce you to the character that was sent in by Claire Joy _style on Instagram. And I know Claire, she took a workshop with me years ago now. So hi Claire, if you're watching this, thank you so much for sending in the suggestion. But I loved the story that she created, and I thought this is the character that I have to take on. And it is 1970s New York City news editor for the Times. How much fun is that? Imagining 1970s, we're talking about a journalist, we're talking about the New York Times. And from there, we're just going to explore that. We're going to talk about just ways of finding the inspiration and creating the mood board, pulling together imagery, and then go from there. So when it comes to this character and really finding the inspiration, I start on Pinterest. I just start looking things up. I look up 1970s, journalists. I look up 1970s styles, New York City, New York Times, movies about journalists in the 1970s. I just start to dig and see what I can find. And so that is where this all started, and then the imagery that has come from that. And this is definitely going to be kind of a mishmash of different ideas, and I do think that's what's fun with characters, is that you can create your own character and kind of interpret however you want. And then yes, we're going to take inspiration from the 1970s, but I also wanted to feel fresh and current and bring that character kind of into the daily life that I'm living. So it's a good mashup of character and then reality. So first of all, 2 movies that I found with good reference points were All the President's Men with Robert Redford, and then also Faye Dunaway in Network, which Faye Dunaway plays a character with the television network, but I thought that was kind of a similar inspiration. And then also with All the President's Men and Robert Redford, it was, actually in a news office in New York City. And so to kind of see what they were wearing, what people in the background were wearing, was really good reference points to start with. I also looked up Barbara Walters in the 1970s. So I just looked up journalists of the 1970s that were famous to kind of start with that and then go from there. Another kind of person that popped in mind when it comes to this inspiration is Diane Keaton. I feel like actually Annie Hall, she was not a journalist, but there's something about her character. It's a lot of menswear. It's that 1970s inspiration. I think of a journalist a little bit disheveled, a little bit piled and kind of frenzied because they're off to find the story. And so I love Annie Hall's character as an inspiration because I feel like there's menswear and then there's a little bit of a frumpiness to it, a good frumpiness. And so that is going to be one of my inspirations. There's a lot of use of ties and men's blazers, vests, trouser pants. I'm loving all of that. Oversized sunglasses, oversized glasses, all the things I love. And then from there, we're really just looking at different imagery of editorials and actual 1970s in New York City street style that I was able to find, which was really fun, or even at fashion shows in the 1970s. And then, current everyday interpretations of that 1970s kind of chic, fabulous dressing of what I think is like, the businesswoman of the 1970s. So that's really where this all started. That's where the inspiration came to life. And then we create the mood board from there. I take all of these images on Pinterest, I look at all of them, and then I actually use an app called Shuffles, which is through Pinterest, and it's linked to your Pinterest account, and you can create mood boards in there, which is really nice because all the images on your boards can just be easily, grabbed, which makes it so much easier than kind of downloading all the images and using Canva or something like that. So I really love that it's like marrying the two things. And then from that, I created this mood board for the journalist. So that's where this all starts. You get the mood board, you get the feeling, what does this character look like? What does this character wear? What are the key pieces? Menswear, 70s trouser pants, blazers, vests, a sense of frumpiness, scarves, oversized sunnies, shoes that are going to probably be kind of practical, square-toed, buckles, all of that. Once you see all of that, it's so much easier then to go through your closet and start pulling together a rack with that inspiration in mind. And it's really fun to kind of have that in mind and then pull the rack. All of a sudden, things in your closet have a new life and you feel more direction with the pieces in your closet. And really don't think of outfits or how you're going to interpret it or anything. It's really just pulling anything from your closet that feels like it might come off of the pages of your mood board. So I'll bring you around my closet as I start to build the rack. I'm going to show you, I've already pulled a few pieces and then we're going to go around and pick a few more. So to start, I have this amazing Burberry scarf. I just felt like it's so classic, for sure 70s inspired. This velvet suit could be like a dressed up moment for the journalist. We are working with some red. It's definitely the color of the season, but in a 1970s style. Also just the use of maxi skirts in the 70s, and I have a few options. This one is pleated, so that has more of the classic. And then I feel like you can't do the 1970s, a journalist, without a trench coat. And I went ahead and set up some shoes right here by my scarves and denim. My Gucci slingbacks are the most perfect 70s journalist shoes. I also grabbed some aviators. So they're just gonna kind of be key styling pieces that'll just be right here with my rack. I have the starter rack happening, but now I'm going to add more to it. And I think key is pants. So I'm going to look through my pants, decide on the ones that feel very 70s, trouser, perfect for that journalist experience. Both of those options were more of the classic high-waist 70s flare, but I also want to have some of the trouser pant style that I saw, Robert Redford wear, more of that classic double pleat trouser. So I have a few options. These pants are just classic. I've had them forever. They're from Urban Outfitters. They're just classic, perfect little window pane print, and I feel like if I'm going to do that more slouchy menswear look of the journalist, these are perfect. These These are another pair of pants. These are just some classic khaki pants. These were men's, and I had taken them to the tailor and had them fit to my waist, which makes them so much fun because they have all the volume of the original pants, but they're, you know, cinched in at the waist. So I feel like these will be so great for the journalist. And one more option that I'm gonna grab are these, again, men's pants. These are corduroy double pleat, just slouchy and have that frump that I'm looking for. I definitely need to hit up all of my blouse section. I actually feel like I have a lot of 1970s inspired blouses, or, you know, actual 1970s blouses. So this will be fun. Anything with a bow tie, you know, blouse right there at the front. I think anything with a great collar. Just classic pieces that journalist might wear. I'm gonna keep adding a few more blouses into the mix, and I also wanted to just mention, you don't have to put every single piece on the rack. I think what it's about is picking the key core pieces that your character might wear, and then as you're getting dressed every day, you could pick one of those core pieces and then work with the rest of your closet. So it's not about stuffing the rack with every single thing. You could totally do that if you want. I like to just pick those eye-catching essentials, and then from there the rest of the closet comes alive based off of what I've put on this rack. And I can't imagine the journalist without some vests, so I'm gonna look through and pick vests that I feel like the journalist would have in her closet. I picked out some really great vest options, and then this is a silver little knit that is from a 1970s brand, and I feel like this could be fun for more of like a dressed up journalist look. And the journalist would definitely have a few incredible skirt options in the mix. I mainly pulled out some pleated options, and then this is just a great little red, pop of red, but more of a secretary style skirt, and then we have to have a camel colored skirt in the mix. This is a polka dot suit that is from the 90s or even maybe early 2000s that I had tailored to be more of a, almost like a flare bell bottom pant. So I feel like this is a good play on 70s suiting. And then we definitely have to have some blazers. So I'm gonna go through my blazers and pick out the ones that I feel like are the perfect match to this collection. I am leaning towards either very oversized classic colors or something with a lot of tailoring that would give off the Bianca Jagger kind of very jet set 1970s. These are the perfect menswear blazers. And then we're gonna do the fitted, more fabulous blazer options. And then I want to add a few ties, which I am loving ties right now. And I pulled out a few really good options. This vintage Gucci tie that's beautiful. This is from Lulu at Lulu Flippin' Vintage, who's at Pickwick. She gave that to me, which is so sweet. And then some of these ties, oh my goodness, this one's falling apart a little bit, but more of this kind of fat 1970s style. I really love those, and I like kind of wearing them shorter. You could wear them longer, you could tuck them into the waistband of pants, but there's something about that more fat tie versus a skinny tie. So that one. And then this is another great option. I love this pop of cranberry or burgundy in the mix with a polka dot. And then more of a skinny option, but I'm really loving this one right now. It's this green, mix of green tie. I love that, and I honestly, I love when there's a pop of green. So I think that's a fun one to add as well. And then I'm gonna kind of throw those on the edges of the rack so that they're just available and I see them and I think about them. And then I think what I'll do is add maybe like 2 more pair of key shoes. We've got the Gucci shoes, and then maybe 2 other options that are just ready and waiting. I love these vintage Miu Miu shoes that I got at Crossroads. I feel like you need to have more of a platform heel with a 1970s dress up rack. And then whenever I'm doing menswear, I love these brassy colored Doc Marten shoes. So I wanted to give myself more of a flat menswear look. This would not be complete without a few glasses options. We've got to have some classic Dior sunnies. These are from Revival Eyewear, as well as these, and they both are just incredible. They're both Christian Dior vintage 1970s, so I have to have those. And then these are from Zenni, the Iris Apfel collaboration, maybe last year, which I feel like just to have more of that quirky actual glasses in the mix, and the aviators. I feel like you have to have aviators. And then I was referencing some imagery to decide about jewelry, which I don't think should be too over the top, but I did notice very statement kind of button style earrings. So looking through my jewelry, I'm leaning towards adding these as, you know, something that's on rotation. And then I think having a really great brooch could be great. And then also just this color scheme feels very on point. So we have great accessories available, as well as the Gucci shoes. We have our ties, and then we have the entire rack ready for me to play with. And down here at the bottom are the other shoes that I can just grab. So I'm ready. I have the 1970s New York Times journalist rack already, and I'm calling this character the journalist, and so that's where everything's going to come out of for this entire week. So you've probably already seen some of the outfits that have come together, but if you haven't, you can go over to Instagram or TikTok and check out different get dressed with me's as I dressed up the journalist. And you got a little bit behind the scenes look at how I create these characters, and it really is fun once you have that rack. New ideas spark. Even, it was funny, I'll show you, you know, as the rack was sitting there, I was thinking this red blouse with this maxi skirt, and then maybe even this camel blazer over it, or a trench coat, and then some really big gold earrings and glasses, and then the Gucci shoes. So just right there, an outfit just formed from seeing it on the rack, and I don't think I would have put those things together if they were all just in the different sections of my closet. So I think that's what's fun about creating your character rack, or you don't even have to do a character, but you could just do an idea, a trend, or something that you're really loving, like an idea, and then you've got all of the beginning happening right there in the rack for you, so it can help to spark new ideas while you're playing dress up. All right, and before I officially sign off, here's a little get dressed with me dressing up my very first look of the journalist. Welcome to my closet. I'm going to share my entire creative process as I get dressed today. I love dressing up characters, and this week I'm taking on a new character, and her name is the journalist. I curated a rack inspired by a 1970s New York journalist who works at the Times. I see this character with a mix of traditional 1970s women's dressing, but then also pulling from the men's as well. I also think she has a side that's a bit frumpy. Her life's chaotic, always trying to get the story, and she doesn't have time to bother with perfection. But today, looking at the rack, I was inspired to do more of a women's wear dressing of 1970s New York City. I see this look ready to pitch some stories around the conference table. And it is December, so the holidays are in full gear. The office party's this weekend. Her day is jam-packed between being in the office, out on the streets getting the scoop, but then later meeting up with friends for a fabulous dinner. And she's known for her statement frames that go everywhere with her. And just like that, the journalist is ready to take on the day in the streets of New York City. And that's it for this week's video. I wanted to let you all know that I'm going to take a little break for the holiday season, so I won't have videos for the next 2 weeks. I will be back with new videos on January 11th. So 2-week break on YouTube, but I'll be back January 11th with a new video then. And I'll probably be here and there on Instagram and TikTok. Definitely between Christmas and New Year's, it'll be pretty quiet for me, but then otherwise I might do a little bit here and there. So you can tune in there. But I look forward to creating new YouTube videos in 2024. And I would love to hear, you know, we've been doing this now for a really long time. Maybe, what year is it? 2024? So maybe we've been doing this 9 years here on YouTube, which if that's right, that's kind of crazy that I've been doing YouTube for 9 years. Let me know if there's some new things that you'd like to see, new ideas, videos that you love that I do that you want to make sure that I continue doing, all of that kind of stuff. I also do have some fun new ideas in the mix, and I am creating a lot of short form video on mainly TikTok. So there's a lot happening there that you can always tune into as well. So anyways, just wanted to kind of get that out there. Would love to hear your feedback and hear what you want to see more of or new ideas for 2024. And if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel. I have new videos every single Thursday, starting back on January 11th. And finally, always play dress up. Bye!